Nice. Next is, I have noticed you guys have touched the subjects of both intermittent fasting and low testosterone levels without getting too deep into it. How has your experience with intermittent fasting been like, and do you know the reason behind your low test? Also, how did you fix it? I've done intermittent fasting for a few years and have good experience with it. However, I just found out that I have really low testosterone and have begun to think they might correlate. I'm 25 years old and my sex drive is close to zero, which affects my relationships and other areas of my life.
Well, so a couple of things. One, I think testosterone is overrated in terms of it being a God metric. I had testosterone of 295 and I had a totally fine sex drive. I was 220 pounds of muscle, like good athlete. I had a friend who had 1,000 testosterone and he couldn't put on muscle, had no sex drive. Like we got the test at the same time, just laughed. We're like, I don't know, this is not how I thought this was going to go. But if this is the case, then this isn't the right God to pursue. Like if that person hadn't done that test and had done a bunch of diet stuff to boost his testosterone, it wouldn't have helped. You know, clearly the thing that was affecting him was something else, whether it was too much sex hormone binding stuff in his blood, or whether it was...
Well, then there's free testosterone, which is supposed to be... I don't know that you guys were able to measure that at the time.
He just might not have been eating enough protein. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He actually might have had the testosterone for muscle building and just a terrible diet. Mm-hmm. Or he might not have worked out hard enough. Instead of doing German volume training, maybe he was going for 3 sets of 6, you know? So I think that's the first thing I would say is I think it is not in a vacuum the only important metric for energy
Inside
or
Tracker
happiness.
is really good
like
for this. InsideTracker.com. You can use /charisma, you get a discount. But it not only measures testosterone, but it'll tell you free testosterone, which is related to your cortisol levels, and your SHBG, which binds to testosterone and makes it like not bioavailable. So I'm sure that as these metrics evolve, all of a sudden we'll learn that new ones are important. But free testosterone is the more representative one of what you're able to use in your body. And even then, I would say it's not the God metric.
It has not too... I mean, I know a lot of friends, testosterone, so we all got very obsessed with this, and it did not one-to-one with who had the most confidence with women, who had the best physique. It just wasn't that. Listen, TRT and steroids and stuff, like they do help with that, but I think sometimes you can get sucked into just, this one metric matters, without being like, I have a vitamin D deficiency or I don't eat enough protein. And the second thing is, why was it low? I know I was low. I was sleep deprived. I was super sleep deprived. So I did intermittent fasting and it boosted it. But then I also quit my job and started sleeping more and it boosted it again. So I was like at 295 and then I was at 450 and then I was at 650. I've never heard that intermittent fasting can hurt testosterone. That would be novel to me. So I think that's this person's hypothesis. I would say that's never something I've read or seen from friends. If anything, it's completely neutral or allegedly helpful. But the guy who wrote the book that says that lifting weights and doing intermittent fasting helps testosterone also injects himself with testosterone. So like clearly it's not the key to quadrupling your testosterone is not intermittent fasting. But yeah, you're fine. I mean, what would I say? Have a good diet, sleep well, work out hard, and then sex drive wise, how much porn do you watch? What's your sexual experience? Are you nervous? Is it that you get with women and you're aroused, but then you're worried about your performance and you get caught in your head so you can't get an erection? Is it that you literally don't care to talk to women? You don't wish there were more in your life, but you just feel like you should? I think there's a lot of ways to have a low sex drive, and I think a lot of things can contribute to it besides testosterone. Like you could have a porn addiction, you could be beating off by vice gripping your penis, which could be affecting your ability to perform in sex. You could be so nervous when it's time to both get naked that you, even though you would like to have sex mentally, your body it isn't there, and there's ways to go about that. Or you could find yourself being asexual in the sense that a beautiful woman walks up to you and says, "Hey, you're so handsome," and you just go, "I don't care, I'd rather be playing video games." And that's its own that's going to have its own set of solutions. So
I would, that's the approach that I would take, would be the holistic one. Totally recognize that testosterone generally correlated with increased muscle mass, increased sex drive, increased violent tendencies, like all of these types of things. But very much echo what Ben would said. I would take that holistic approach. And the places that I would start, if I was speaking to you, you would guide the conversation, obviously, but initial questions I would have is, well, one, What's the problem for you in your life right now with low sex drive? Tell me why that's a thing that you want to change, because that would actually give me some insight into your psychology. I would ask, do you masturbate? What's your relationship with porn? And if you had a active relationship with porn, that would probably be the first place that I looked. I'm not saying that everybody needs to get off porn, but if you have low sex drive and porn is a part of your life, that's like a big red flag for me.
Dude, cut porn, cut masturbating. It's a pretty solid chance that you'll boost your sex drive.
Sure. And the other thing, it can go in the other direction. It's like, I never masturbate. It's like, okay, we might need to schedule some time for you to reconnect with why that feels good for people. So I not knowing how you would answer those questions, I can't go further than that.
And sometimes low sex drive is actually a cover for fearing rejection. You go, if I don't want sex, I don't have to worry about approaching women. If I don't have to worry about approaching women, I don't have to worry about them rejecting me.
Sometimes it's a cover for having taste, and on not the bad, but like the far end, it'd be like you're gay, which I'm not saying you are, but it could be like having a taste that doesn't fit in with what is mainstream attractive. So you think you're supposed to be attracted to the girls that look like what all of your friends are attracted to, and you're just not feeling it. What you're hiding from yourself is that you're attracted to
people who might get you teased, but that's where your actual arousal is.
But that's where you're like, that turns me on.
Yeah.
And so, there's likely a disconnect from your turn-ons, because for it can be 100 different reasons. One of the reasons is that it's not a popular, cool turn-on. So that would be where I would start, and not with testosterone. Though there are people that hey, let's just go biological and boost this one number. And that can have an effect. So.
All right. Last one is, what are your thoughts about Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism and the virtue of selfishness?
I only know a little. I've read a little, but it was a lot, like over 100 pages of Atlas Shrugged, which gets you not very far into it.
I've never even tried.
So I don't know a ton about the philosophical part. I can say that I thought the book was way too long. I thought that its characterization, and this is only early in the book, of people as either moochers or providers was a caricature. Like, there's elements of that are true. And I don't exactly know how she addresses selfishness. I think that selfishness often has a bad rap. I was talking to someone yesterday about how altruism, if you boil it down, the most altruistic act is to feel good in some particular way. So I don't know how she... what her concept of selfishness is. I know that she's a defender of it. So I couldn't say if I think that her particular concept of selfishness is good, bad, appropriate, or inappropriate, because I'm not totally familiar with it. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.